Hello everyone, it's Georgia here, and I have been going for my walk on this beautiful sunny day. And you can tell, right? Like, I just love sunny days. I just love when the sun's out. I can go out, and at the same time, I do appreciate the gift of rain and cold and other seasons, because that's part of nature and that's part of what world we live in, and that is part of us in a way. So if you look at the different seasons, you will notice that they go through different changes. We go through different changes. We can be more inclined to be indoors when it's winter. We can be more inclined to be outdoors when it's summer. And we just go through internal changes, rearrange things at home. We go through different many changes as the seasons change. And yeah, and if you don't go through any of those changes, then I'll be interested to know, what is your lifestyle like, and how do you rearrange things in your life where you can accommodate and be with whatever happens moment to moment. And in particular, in this phase of our lives, where pretty much the whole world has stopped in a way, and we've been in lockdown and in quarantine. And slowly, it seems like all over the world, things are reopening or starting to come back into life, very slowly at this point. So yeah, for anyone who's listening to this video, I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I have the blessing to be at a country or at a state and a city that maybe did not have the very tight restrictions, I would say, that Europe had or has, and America has gone through, in a sense of yes, we've been restricted in where we can go, but we haven't had the need to send a SMS to any organisation to say, hey, we're going here and we'll be back at this time, or complete a form, to say that we're going to the doctors or the supermarket or wherever. We haven't had those kind of restrictions, which I find is a blessing for me. But we all live in a different world, in a sense of where our country is, or where we're located and what subject, and we all live in a different mentality in a way. We all live in a different upbringing, and we all live in a different mindset in a way. So inside of that, it's a great opportunity to learn from each other and see what works, what doesn't work, what can we change, what we can make better. And as I was going for my walk today and had listened to some positive talks or some online courses that I've been a part of these few weeks, to magnify or amplify what I already know within me, but also to gain more uh, education or wisdom or understanding in what is going on for myself internally, for the world, and how I can put things in place and new opportunities or new strategies in place to make my life better in a way in the upcoming months or years. Then I was also looking at the idea of, and I don't want to put it just as an idea, I would say. I want to put it as a opportunity to think of how it is for you and how does it sit for you. So a lot of times we have had things as a given, And we go to our job. We have this daily routine where we wake up, we get ready, we go to our job, we come back home, we have dinner or watch TV or play with the kids, or depends on what situation you're in, go out, go for dinner outside, or go for a coffee, or whatever it is, yeah? And we have as a given that the next morning I'm going to wake up again, get ready, go to work, for example. And it's all a given, given, given. So our work might be a given, that it's there, it's happening. Our health may be a given because we feel healthy and well, and we're doing the things that we know best to do and keep healthy, or we're not that healthy and we've always thought, no, I'll always be this way, and we have that as a given, that it's always going to be that way. We have the earth as a given, that, it's not going to give up on us, or maybe we think, yeah, it will, it will create more destruction for us to maybe get a lesson out of it. We have it as a given that water will be available. I'm not saying everyone will have all these as a given, and in every part of the world, or in every country, or every human being, no. But as a general thing, a lot of times we have things as a given. We maybe have a given that we will have food the next day, and we will be, able to eat. Whereas in some countries, they may have a given. It's a given that we have to fight for our food, or find food, and it's not a given that they're going to have 2-3 meals a day. And if I go back to when I volunteered in 2017 in South Africa, and it was for a group of, black Africans. I'm just saying that to distinguish between the white and the black in South Africa. And it's not me saying that. If you go there, they also define themselves as, separate themselves that way. And that's not my, aim, obviously, to separate them, but just to bring some context into what I'm saying. I was volunteering, and the kids that were going at this childcare centre that this organisation had built in the past, and we visited, they will hardly have food sometimes. Like their daily thing is not having 3 meals a day, maybe not even a snack. If they can get 1 meal a day sometimes, that is a given maybe for them, and they have to kind of work for it, and they have a lot of times things that is not nutritional, and they're bloated, and it just doesn't give them the energy. It gives them the energy and just crashes after that. So it depends where you're at and when you're listening to this video. So you think for yourself, what is given in my life? Like, is it your work? Is it your health? Is it that your family around you is a given? The person you're in a relationship with, like a romantic partner, is that a given to you? Because you've been with them for 2 and 3 and 5 years or 20 years, and you just feel, oh yeah, whatever I do, whatever I say, whatever happens, they're going to always be there. They love me, they care for me, or they're not going to leave, or whatever it may be, your story might be for that. Is that a given to you? What is a given to you? Like, it could be, for me, maybe that I'm going for my daily walks, or mostly every day, as a given right now. And yeah, it could be anything. And a lot of times we have things as a given. And sometimes it's also the communication you have with people, that because they've always communicated a particular way, and even if they don't answer your question, in your mind, it's like, do they want to do this or don't they want to do this? But for them, it's like already given. Yeah, like I didn't answer, but it's a given. When for the other person, it may not be a given. So it's great to look at that and see what is a given for you, and just sit for one moment and be present in that moment and see what happens when, if everything and most things are taken out of your life, or you're not healthy, or you don't have your job that you always had. Like in these circumstances now, we've taken things for given, possibly in the past, that now they've been stripped away. Not everything, but a lot of things have been stripped away. People have lost their jobs. People can't see their family or friends. We can't travel. Just different things. And we've had these as a given. Oh, yeah, traveling industry will always be there. And then we can't. So what happens then? It's stripped out, it's taken away, it's limited. It's, yes, it may not be forever, but for now, right now, it's taken away. And what happens then? What are we left with? And what feelings come up for us? And there's anxiety and fear. And are we ever going to be back to normal? And, you know, as I said, anxiety comes up and things just come up for us. And we don't know how to manage it and how to be with it a lot of times. So I feel sometimes it's great to look at that and just notice what is a given for us and how can we move from that into the now moment, see what sits with us and be present to that now moment. Because if we start thinking of the future too much, because we've had all these givens that, oh yeah, in 6 months' time, I'll progress to being a manager in my job. I'll work hard and I'll be a manager. Oh, in a year's time, I'm going to travel Europe for 3 months because I really want to explore it and see it and live with it. Oh, that was a bee. Uh, so just different things. We have things as I'm going to do this at this time frame. I'm going to do this at this time frame. I'm going to do this in this time frame. And it's okay to have goals. It's okay to have dreams. It's okay to have belief that of the future of what you want to do and desires. I'm up for that. I just feel it's important though to every time come back to the now moment and maybe create those strategies towards that, but also not take it as a given. Leave the attachment behind. Leave the attachment that it has to go that way or has to be that way, because that's when you will feel more grateful of what you truly have right now, what you truly have in that moment. So now that things have been stripped away or they've taken away from us in some way, and we're left with whatever we're left with, what are we grateful for? And if you recognize that every single day, if you get to see that every single day, what am I grateful for today? Maybe it's something you want to do in the morning before you start. I'm grateful for waking up today and feeling alive. I'm grateful for having the energy to, you know, be myself today. I'm grateful for having water this morning to drink. I'm grateful that I can have my morning coffee, whatever it might be for you. I'm grateful that I still have a job to work and bring money in my life. So you can start off in the morning. And it can also be something that you do at night just before you go to bed and scan your day briefly. Does not have to be a big task. It can only be just like 1-2 minutes. I'm grateful that I got to speak with my best friend and I heard her and I heard him and I get to see where they're at in life. I'm grateful for having my health today and for being on a beautiful, healthy diet. I'm grateful that I got to eat some junk food today, if that's your thing, But it could be anything that you're grateful for. And noticing that not taking for granted what you've got and being grateful for it gives you an opportunity to actually look at what you do have in your life, who you are in your life, what feelings that create in your life, and also being in the present moment. And I think I do want to emphasize that because when we look too much into the past, in the future, of what we can have or could have or what we would have loved to have, and then it's not there because the thing that we felt was so given to us is not there anymore, then we create anxiety and stress and irritability, and we start feeling even pissed off at the world, or pissed off or angry at the world and angry at us and frustrated and annoyed. And the flip side of that, when we start looking at our past too much and thinking, oh my God, like I had $1 million. Not that a lot of us have, maybe, that are listening to us, but some of them maybe do. But I had $1 million in shares, all right? I'll just say that. And now it's like, oh my God, they're not worth, $100,000. Like, imagine, like, if you're looking at the past, you could be actually blaming yourself for putting that money into that. Or you could be saying, it's like, oh, I used to have five, meals a day because I loved food, and I would go out with my friends all the time, and I used to go for um, my coffees every day at my local cafe and have breakfast. Or I used to see my friend and we gave the best hugs every single day and whatever. And if you go back into the past, then you're not actually being in the present again. You're not being grateful for having what you've got, or being in that situation that you're in right now. You're just going in the past, blaming yourself, feeling regretful maybe for some things, feeling disappointed, feeling sad. Or you could be bringing that into the now moment and feeling actually happy and grateful for having had those opportunities and interactions and money and life. So you could be seeing that and looking in your past as well and bringing in the present moment and feeling actually satisfied and complete and beautiful and not annoyed. So I feel it's an opportunity for us all to be with that energy or thought or belief system that not everything or not or nothing is given. And on the flip side of it, in some way, everything is given. Like, everything can be possible in this world. But in some way, it's like what you've always taken for granted, it can be taken away in a split second. And a lot of times, when do we find that happening? Except from all this whole opportunity. Well, you can see as an opportunity, but this whole experience with the pandemic, except from now, what was I going to say? Yeah, it's like we take things for granted. I can't remember where I was going with that now. It just slipped my mind. But we take things for granted. Oh, yeah, so now I remembered. So now, except from this pandemic, when do we realize that? A lot of times, I think we realize that when there's been a death around us, a death of a family member that was really, really close to us, or a friend that was really, really close to us, or we are ourselves experiencing a health issue that is major or big to us, and possibly, it could potentially go towards not living in this life anymore. So when that happens a lot of times and there's death, the whole, you know, thing about death around us, then we start noticing the things that we have regretted, that we didn't say, that we could have said, or the things that we said, the things that we did, that we didn't do, or the blessing of this person in our life or ourselves. That's when we get to see, or seeing that nothing is given and everything can happen, anything can happen from moment to moment. And a lot of times when car accidents happen or there is a sudden death, or people just, pass away from strokes instantly, or from an aneurysm, or from a heart, attack, or from, a big accident. When these sudden things happen, a lot of times that's very traumatic, and that's when sometimes, or a lot of times, learn or realize that, oh my God, life is so precious. Life is so beautiful. And that's our whole process of noticing that nothing is given, and everything and anything is possible. And when we start seeing more of how do I feel in the moment, and being present to that moment, and living in that moment as much as possible, bring in all those things in the now, then we can feel more relaxed within ourselves, more at peace within ourselves, more in harmony within ourselves, and feel that we have the drive and the fire and the passion within us comes out more naturally, and more ignited, more blessed, because it's always there. It is always them. That fire within us, that passion within us, that innate ability to be who we are is always there. So, I'd love to encourage you and invite you to screen your life, or your past week maybe, or your day, and notice, what are you grateful for in this moment? And notice what is something, or the things that you have described as a given to yourself. This is given, given, given. And noticing that now that is not true. That's not given. I don't have the job that I've always had for 20 years because of what's happening with the pandemic. I don't have the people in my life that I love around me because we're limited in our interactions. I don't have the, ability to go to a cafe and a restaurant and sit there because of what's happening now. And it could be something else, because in other countries, as I said, it could be something else. And depending on where you're listening from and where you're at, I think it's the work for you to do in your life and in your personal world of where you're at. So, look at what you take as a given and for granted, and what you can put within yourself in the moment when you're present. Not even put, but be in that moment and see what comes up. What are you grateful for? And moving forward with the ability to be grateful for something, at least one thing a day. Even if you just think it, I think that's a big and a good start. So I hope this message has helped you, and today it is the 24th of April 2020, and I am blessed and grateful to be alive. I'm blessed and grateful to have this beautiful weather and sunshine around me, be around this beautiful park, which I love, close to my house, like 2 minutes away, and the river is right behind me there, and I just love it. I love it. There's so much space around here, and social distancing does happen. It's easy when you've got so much space here. All right, may you all be blessed as well and loved, and I feel gratitude for having you in my life. Whether I know you or not, if you're listening to this, we are connected in some way. Thank you. Bye-bye.